Hello everyone and welcome back to Xbox Nation. My name is Fletcher and this is the video where we take a look at the upcoming Xbox and Game Pass games for this week and to really see if any of them are really worth your time and or money. It is certainly a quieter week, which is kinda nice compared to the hectic weeks we've seen over the past October, but we have a ton of new Xbox Game Pass games coming our way to still take our time away. With that though, let's dive right into the games coming our way for this week. First up, we have an indie masterpiece that is making its way over from PC and Switch, and it's one that you definitely need to try if you get the chance. 1000 Times Resist drops you into the far future world that's ruled by the mysterious All-Mother, and that's a being that's worshipped by generations of clones. It is looking to be a mind-bending narrative adventure game that plays with time, identity, and rebellion, and it's all kind of wrapped up in a surreal and emotionally charged sci-fi world. To me, the art direction is pretty unique and quite haunting, but I do know that many of you might actually be put off by this by its simplicity, but definitely don't let that sway you away from this absolute gem. To give you more of an idea though, you will be jumping between timelines, uncovering secrets and questioning reality itself, and the storytelling is genuinely top tier, and that's why it won so many awards. Think Nier Automata meets Heavenly Bodies, but with a heavy dose of introspection. It might be one of the best indies on Xbox Game Pass this year, and that's judging it by the reviews over on PC and Switch so far. Next up, we have something far more relaxing, but just as addictive. Farming Simulator 25 Highlands Fishing Edition expands on the cozy farming formula, but with a brand new twist. That's right, it's fishing. This one though is set in a stunning Scottish Highlands region, and you'll be managing both your crops and now fisheries, bringing a whole new level of realism and resource management to this series. Between driving your tractors and tending to your livestock though, you will be casting lines, maintaining ponds, and just hauling in your daily catch. I know so many people out there who lose so many hours playing Farming Simulator, and I'm still kind of taken back by the fact that this game is also an esport. From what I've seen so far from this update, it does look rather juicy, and I have a feeling this will be a fan favourite when it drops on the 4th of November. Alright football fans, your sleepless nights are definitely about to return. Football Manager 26 is going to be here this week, and once again it's ready to devour every single hour of our lives. This year's version though looks to fine-tune almost every single system, from stuff like scouting and tactics to player interactions, making it the most refined and realistic entry that we've seen to date. After the skip of FM25 last year, I for one cannot wait to finally get back on that touchline, and it's great to see it also coming day one onto Xbox Game Pass. From what I've seen personally, the new match engine does look smoother than we've seen, with better animations, crowd energy, and dynamic momentum that makes every fixture actually feel alive now. If you've never played Football Manager before though, it's endlessly deep and just so ridiculously addictive. The team who have made this one have also acquired the FIFA license recently, so it means that we can see more official teams, World Cup modes, and so much more down the line, and it's looking like such a decent addition for this year. Now, this one's been a long time coming for a lot of us console players. Satisfactory is finally arriving on Xbox, and it's looking to be every bit as compelling as PC fans promised. It is a first-person factory building game where chaos slowly becomes order, as you'll be making tons of conveyor belts, machines, and automated production lines that sprawl across an alien world. It's weirdly calming and really endlessly addictive. You will start pretty small by crafting basic resources, and then suddenly you realise you built a city-sized industrial complex with miles of interlinked systems. From my own experience, please do be wary about how much time you put into this one. I've spent countless nights thinking I was only up for an hour, to then realise it's 5 AM and then the sun starts coming up. This is a real time-sink experience, but it's bloody brilliant. Us Age fans are finally getting the new expansion this week, and it's probably the one expansion that I'm most excited to see for this franchise. Age of Empires 4 Dynasties of the East finally dives deep into the battles and strategy of East Asia, and along with it brings brand new civilizations, campaigns, and battle mechanics to one of the most beloved RTS games that's ever been made. Of course, you will be commanding mighty dynasties alongside constructing intricate fortresses and then waging wars as we do all the time and time again. For me, the new maps and units are what I'm most excited to try out with this brand new DLC, and of course the art and music will look to capture the beauty of this era pretty perfectly. This actually does coincide with the launch over on PlayStation as well, and as much as some of us Xbox fans aren't too happy with this, I'm still glad we should get a higher player count and more noobs for me to personally destroy. The base game is on Game Pass if you're interested, but this DLC does require that extra purchase. On the 5th of November, we have a game that is looking to nail that sort of co-op charm that's been missing on the current generation of consoles for quite some time. Biped 2 is back to test both your coordination and your friendships, and it is looking pretty decent for a little indie experience. It is a physics-based platformer where you and a buddy will control two adorable robots, using only their legs to walk, climb, and solve clever puzzles. It does sound pretty simple until you're tiptoeing across collapsing bridges or just trying to time every step perfectly. The sequel does look to build on everything that made the first game so great, so that means more new worlds, tighter controls, and just plenty of that joyful chaos that only couch co-op can really bring with it. I love highlighting these smaller indie experiences, and I reckon many of you have probably never heard of this one before. But with it finally coming up for this holiday season, I think it's well worth putting on your wishlist for some great couch co-op fun. Now, this one's actually something special, and I truly think it might be a highlight of 2025. Dead Static Drive has basically been described as Grand Theft Cthulhu, and honestly, they're looking pretty spot on with that quote. It's a road trip survival horror game that's set in a decaying America that's been overrun by strange cosmic horrors. You'll be scavenging, driving, and fighting to survive, balancing tense exploration with surreal storytelling. There is a real sort of gritty atmosphere that feels like a mix of Twin Peaks and Night in the Woods, only with monsters hiding in the shadows of gas stations and motels. The stylized art direction also gives everything a more nostalgic sort of VHS road movie vibe that's equal parts eerie and so beautiful. It's been in development now for so long, and we finally got a release date only over a few days ago, and I'm so excited. It finally does land on the 5th of November for Xbox and PC, and yes, it will be coming day one to Xbox Game Pass at its launch. I have mentioned egging on a couple of times here on the channel now over the past couple of weeks, and that's simply because this game seemingly came out of nowhere and then suddenly got announced that it will be arriving onto Xbox Game Pass as well. This one though is lined up for the 6th of November, and it really is in prime position to be one of the funniest games we've ever received on the service. In this adventure, you basically take control of an egg that doesn't want to be brought to the shop or even turned into someone's meal. Instead, it just wants to climb to the top of the world. We will then have to roll and jump in various themed challenging climbing environments and carefully crafted levels. It is very reminiscent of games like I Am Bread and I Am Fish, so I fully expect tons of frustrating moments as we crack to the floor. But then again, at least we can have fun whilst falling and just having a laugh about it. Adventure fans, this next one is for you for this week. Syberia Remastered brings Benoit Socal's beloved classic into the modern era with loads of updated visuals, smoother performance, and of course loads of quality of life tweaks that make it easier to play and enjoy today. If you're unfamiliar with this one though, you basically follow a woman called Kate Walker who's an American lawyer, and she's drawn into a mysterious journey across Europe and Russia, uncovering secrets of a forgotten automaton civilization. It's one of those adventure games that really does value storytelling and world building over handholding, and is a reason why it's such a beloved classic amongst many out there. It does look as though that the devs have actually kept the remaster's original charm intact, but then polished it just enough to make the experience feel fresh without losing its soul. If you've never played Syberia, this is the definitive way to experience one of the most heartfelt narratives in all of gaming, and you certainly won't regret it. Unbeatable hits Xbox this week, and until making this video, I've actually never heard of this one. I'm actually glad I've now come across it though, as it's a rhythm-based action-adventure game which looks so bloody fantastic. It's so stylish, anime-inspired, and full of energy, and sometimes I do love jumping into these sort of rhythm-based adventures that are similar in a way to games like Hi-Fi Rush. Upon doing some more research though, you play as Beat, a rebellious musician that's fighting a world where music is illegal, and everything from the character art to the soundtrack just screams so much personality. The combat and timing seems to be sort of punchy and satisfying, syncing perfectly with a killer original soundtrack that might be one of the best for this entire year. Like I said, if you like games like Hi-Fi Rush, then I reckon this will be a very good pickup for this week. For all of us PC users or even ROG Xbox Ally owners, then Whiskerwood will be joining the Xbox Game Pass library on the 6th of November. It will be via Game Preview though for Ultimate and PC Game Pass subscribers. Unfortunately though, this one won't be available for Xbox consoles right out the gate, though I do expect we might see it within the next couple of months. If you're unfamiliar with this one, it has you establishing a brand new home for some industrious mice, or living under the tyrannical rule of some cat overlords. In this city builder, you'll have to explore untamed lands, grow your crops, and then gather all manner of commodities while keeping your mouse folk happy, and of course meeting the demands of your feline rulers. I love these sort of unique city builders, and I'm just hoping it's another decent one when it lands onto Xbox Game Pass this week. An extremely positive turn-based RPG is finally landing onto Xbox this week, and it's called Dark Deity 2. This is another game that I've never heard of before, but judging by the over 1,000 reviews over on Steam, it looks incredibly solid for fans of this genre. Basically, Dark Deity is actually centered on a new generation of heroes and a world on the brink of war. This is then set 25 years after the first game, and Vora faces invasion from the Holy Empire, and only the Eternal Order can really stand against it. You will then basically lead your descendants, forge alliances, and shape your army where your choices define your legacy. Many over on PC are said to recommend this one, especially to anyone who really enjoys this game with both its pixel art and turn-based combat. It seems to be such a huge improvement on the first game, and there are practically no flaws, which seems to be fantastic to see. It will arrive again for the Xbox consoles on the 7th of November. For me personally, the one game that I really can't wait to try this week has to be VoidTrain, and I feel this is going to be a massive hit with many of you across your Xbox consoles. In this one, you basically become a crew member of an interdimensional express train, and it's your job to journey through a mysterious new world that is full of weird creatures, enemies, and places for you to discover. For me, it kind of reminds me of Sea of Thieves, but in a weird dimension where trains float and worlds look absolutely bonkers. I've actually been playing this one already on Xbox thanks to the developers, and I will have my review out within the next couple of days, and all I can say is that it is very innovative. The setting and animations are very cool, and everything here is different than any other game that I've really played, and I really like the concept. Do make sure to keep an eye out for this when it hits Xbox and Game Pass on the 7th of November, and make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on this review. Whilst down there as well, do smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and whilst here, why don't you check out the video on screen now, as I recently covered the 15 huge new Xbox open world games coming our way in 2026.